Hello, I'm John Hargraves, Volunteer Director of the Pennsylvania Prison Society. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce our Volunteer of the Year, Phyllis Taylor. Phyllis has been a long-term advocate for people that are incarcerated. She's a correctional chaplain and very much involved in victim support. And, remarkably, Phyllis doesn't seem to get discouraged. She's dealing largely with people who are ill, and she perseveres. And the prisons throw up roadblocks. Sometimes even the incarcerated people have a roadblock. But Phyllis will just hang in there and overcome it and has a great attitude about this. And so many people in state prisons and a few county prisons are just so thankful for her. So we want to honor her for that. And I'm going to introduce Phyllis to say a few words about what she's been doing in the prison system. Phyllis, take it away.
Again, I am honored, I am humbled by this. I don't do it alone, with the team that looks at SCI Phoenix and our team also looks at the Philadelphia prison system. I want to hold them up as well. So they're there with me in terms of my gratitude and being honored. I think you're right. For me, I refuse to be discouraged. I might get angry, but I think it's really important for those of us who are advocates for those who are incarcerated, and really also for their families, and in some ways for the staff who works inside really difficult times and situations. If we let ourselves be discouraged, then the injustices that are so prevalent because of poverty and racism and broken systems go on. So for me, I am continually being grateful for those who are incarcerated and their ability to go through what they go through. And also their families, but also the prison society, which holds up all of the needs for those who are incarcerated, both the individuals and their families, and also the policies that need constantly to be challenged. I actually go way, way back with the prison society because I've been around a long time. I have been up at Greaterford when it was Greaterford, now Phoenix. I've traveled to Dallas, I've traveled to Laurel Highlands, and I've made it a point to try and establish a relationship with obviously the OVs, who I tremendously appreciate, but also with the incarcerated person and his or her family, and with the staff. Because I think one of my messages that makes us more successful is if we're not seen as adversaries, but as advocates. Real difference. If we are advocating for somebody, how do we do that in a way that is the least threatening to those who have the power, frankly? If we are advocating but also persistent, people will begin to trust us. And that will make it a whole lot easier for the incarcerated person or the family. I found as I've worked with some of the incarcerated persons, it's really helping them know they are heard, that they are not abandoned. And that's what the OVs do. And when I get the reports and I follow up on that, or team that addresses Phoenix and the Philadelphia prison system, or when I call folks like John, to say, here is a situation, it does make a difference. Just today, I was on the phone with one of the head nurse or CHCA at one of the other state prisons, and have gained through the years her trust. So the issues that the incarcerated person, or the patient for me, were raising could be addressed. And now I'll go back and write a letter. I will go back to the OV. I will go back to the I will write to the incarcerated person and can be in touch with their family. I know of no other group that provides the kind of consistent outreach to those who really do often feel abandoned. I know Prisoner Visitation and Support, which works in the federal, does a really wonderful job. But what we do as part of the Prison Society is extraordinary, because we go back in, or we do phone interviews or virtual visitation. We listen. I think that's one of the important things that I've learned. I am a student, not just a teacher. I listen to the concerns, I hear them, I report them on, and I don't give up. I will go back and back until that concern is addressed, or because I recognize the difficulty of providing security, that the authorities will also begin to work with us. And that comes to some of the success stories we've had. And let me just do a few. There was a gentleman who had multiple cardiac problems. He was in his 40s, not very old, very obese, which made it really difficult. He was transferred because the local SCI could not manage him. He was transferred actually to Laurel Highlands. His mom was in New York City. And so talking with her, talking with the administration at Laurel Highlands, talking with medical, they got permission for the family to drive all the way out from New York to see him, to love him up. And then a few days later, he passed. And so it became then bereavement. That's in its own way, a real success story, because the medical condition was acknowledged. The reality of the facility was acknowledged. His family got support. They did not feel that he was getting inadequate care. And their bereavement, his mom wrote me a beautiful note afterwards, said, in our time of some of the worst parts of my life, of watching my son be sick and then die, was eased because the Prison Society basically was involved. And I want to hold that up for all of the OVs who go in, who listen, etc. Makes a huge difference. Another person who was a juvenile diabetic and had questions about his diabetes, again, advocating for him to get specialized shoes, being in touch with his mom. And then he is one of the lucky ones. He went before parole and he was paroled out. But I think the SCI felt good. I think the OVs felt good. I know I felt good. And this gentleman is gotten work and is doing well. I mean, I think we have to hold on to the success stories. Sometimes they are little successes, but it makes a difference. I do write to people. Probably insanely, I write to too many, but I've had folks, I mark their birthday, I send a card, I try to involve others involved, but I don't know how many times I've gotten the response back, that was the only card I ever got this year. When the OV visited, that was the first visit I had in 4 years. For people who are lifers or who are serving 20 to 40 years, 40 to 80 years, being able to encourage them to continue to get education is wonderful. There's a person I've worked with whom I knew in the Philadelphia system, has a long sentence. She is now at Cambridge Springs. Her dad recently died. That's the kind of way that OVs and the Prison Society can be supporting her, but also helping the folks at, in this case, SCI Cambridge Springs, somebody who was bereft with the death of her father because she couldn't be there. So this award is really, for me, both humbling. It is a desire to encourage those who are behind the gates, behind the bars, to know there are people out there who really do care. We are volunteers who are OVs, and it is our privilege and our obligation. I believe it is both our obligation to reach through the bars to let people know they are not abandoned and not forgotten.
All right, Phyllis. Well put. Thank you very much. And once again, congratulations, official visitor and volunteer, prison monitor, all these hats you wear. We're just so astonished by them.
Yeah, totally my privilege. And I send it right back to you and everybody else who might be watching this. Never give up. We're mandated to visit the sick. We're mandated to visit those in prisons. We're mandated to visit those who are grieving. And every single person is grieving because they've lost the freedoms and because for some of them, they are also wrestling with what got them there. So to all of us, it is my gratitude, absolute gratitude to those who persist, staff, OVs, and also those who are incarcerated, and also those who are staff. So keep going, keep visiting, keep acknowledging, keep letting us know, and particularly me, when there are health issues or grief issues. And I will do everything I can to get back to the OV, as well as the incarcerated person and our wonderful team that addresses the complicated issues at SCI, Phoenix, and the Philadelphia prison system. So it's thank you, thank you, thank you.